This video is about a market economy, and I put the United States down there because we are an example of a market economy. What we're looking at here is a market, and a market is anywhere that voluntary exchanges take place. You've got the shoe market here, a car market, you kind of have a flea market there. And going back to kind of reviewing voluntary exchanges, I go to the shoe store, I give them money, I walk out with the shoes. They're happy, I'm happy, both benefit. You have to have something that the other person wants. I want the shoes, they want the money. It's a perfect voluntary exchange. Something that markets help us do is to eliminates the idea that we need to be self-sufficient. We can do what we do best. I work, I get a paycheck, and then I'm able to go to markets and purchase all the things that I want to buy. So I don't have to worry about knowing how to make shoes. I don't have to know how to make a car. I don't have to plant my own food. I don't have to make my own clothes. I don't have to be any of those things. So I do not have to be self-sufficient because there is a market out there for about 100% of the things that I want and need. We specialize in what we do with the least cost, the least opportunity cost. There is a big incentive in market economies to be efficient. So we have to use our resources as wisely as we possibly can. And in a free market economy, individuals, business owners get to own the factors of production. The government doesn't own businesses for the most part. They don't own the natural resources in the United States. They don't own the businesses. It is individuals who own. We own our own labor. We can own our own land. We can own our own equipment and machines, all of that stuff. So it's the individual in a market economy or in a free market economy who owns all of the factors of production. And then going back to the three basic economic questions, it's buyers and sellers working together that answer the three basic economic questions. What are we going to produce in a market economy? It's all about efficiency. It's all about making money at the end of the day. So we have to produce something that people want. In a market economy, you're never going to produce something that someone does not want, because if you do, you're not going to be in business for very long. So we produce what people want based on the resources that we have. How are we going to produce it? The most efficient way possible. If that's with people, then we will do it with people. If it's with machines, we'll do it with machines. I just saw on 15 the other day, they're getting ready to do some construction. And I've seen in the past when they're trying to cut traffic down to one lane, they have someone standing there. And you have to remember, these people make quite a bit of money to stand there with a stop sign and turn it back and forth. I just saw the other day they put at the end of each side of the bridge a light. So they have replaced an individual with a light that's going to tell traffic when to stop and go. So in the United States, we like to use equipment. We are very capital intensive. But if you go to other countries, that's not necessarily the case. But in a free market economy, if it's cheaper with people, we'll do it with people. If it's cheaper and more efficient with machines, we're going to use that. So that's what to produce, how to produce, and then how we distribute things. You see here, people are going to go to the market. If they value something, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. You don't have an equal distribution of goods and services where everyone shares in a small amount of certain things. If I value it, I will pay the price for it. If I don't, I won't. Here are some terms that are used to describe a market economy. Capitalism is used. So if you ever hear capitalism, that's what our system, our economy is. Free enterprise is another term that's used to describe our economic system. A price system is used. How do we distribute ration? That's the term I'm using. How do we ration things here in the United States? How do we decide who gets what? We put a price tag on it. It doesn't involve anything else. I go to the store, I look at the price, I either say I want it or I don't want it. That is how buyers and sellers communicate with each other, through a price tag. I can get a lot of information from that tag. And I communicate back to the producer. It's either too high or too low, and I do that by either buying it or not buying it. That term laissez-faire there in the middle, Laissez, Faire, literally means hands off. And so laissez-faire, when you hear that term used, it typically is referring to economy, and the hands off is referring to the government. So it is an economy where the government stays out of it as much as possible. In the upper right-hand corner, up there, freedom of choice, the right to create a profit. Those are not necessarily bad things. And then less and lower regulation and taxes means greater freedom. And those all kind of go along with the type of economic system that we have. And then the last thing we want to talk about here is Adam Smith and the invisible hand. You have seen this over and over again, hopefully by now. This concept is second nature to you. So Adam Smith is the father of capitalism, and he says that the motivating force in a free market is people pursuing their self-interest. And so this is a nice little graphic there. The palm of the hand talks about competition and self-interest act as an invisible hand that regulates the free market. What it's saying is the government does not have to do this at all. There are profit-seeking producers will make more because they have to be efficient. They're going to use their resources efficiently as possible. The needs of the society will be automatically met. The government does not have to do that. By people pursuing their own self-interest and businesses competing, we get better products, we get lower prices, and the government does not need to be involved in this. And in a free market economy, there are some different types of incentives that we have that they don't have in a command economy. There are monetary incentives and there are non-monetary incentives. In a monetary incentive, I have an incentive to come to work because they pay me to come to work. But there are also some non-monetary incentives, some things, that people want to do a good job regardless of whether there's money involved in it or not. There's a sense of accomplishment and doing a good job. Those are also incentives. But for the most part, if we're not getting paid to do a job, most people don't want to do a job. So in a market economy, there is this idea of a profit motive that pushes us to want to do things. Competition, once again, extremely important. When two people compete, it pushes you to be better. And consumers benefit from competition because we get higher quality products at lower prices. So once again, this idea that the two things that work together to regulate a market, according to Adam Smith, is competition, self-interest, and the invisible hand says by us pursuing our self-interest and this idea of competition, producers who are seeking profit have to compete. They have to provide high quality products or high quality products at low prices, or we will go somewhere else to get whatever it is that they are providing. And in the center of that, the government does not need to be involved in this process.